Okay, we're live. We're on.
We're live here at
We're doing the sound check now.
We're doing sound check.
So we're at Comedy Road, and we're doing this one in a different location. We had Max Faulkner, the owner of Joker's on, last week, in the other room, in the inner sanctum, and I thought the natural light here with the window would be better.
Makes my hair flow.
Yeah. So, Comedy Road, guys, we're back, and this is our headliner for this week, Todd Johnson.
I'm glad you said it because I couldn't remember.
I know. You notice I needed to pause a little bit before it came to me.
That's perfectly fine because we're best friends.
Yeah. I've known Todd for a long time. I lived in Idaho 27 years. You were born and raised in Idaho, weren't you? Yeah.
Yep. And they let me get out every once in a while.
Todd is one funny motherfucker, let me tell you. He is. If you're catching this now on, what's today? The 17th, February
18th.
18th. February. If you're catching it February 18th, Saturday, he'll be there. He'll be at Joker's tonight. Show starts at 7:30. There's an opener. I'm going to do a guest set. Then there's a feature act, and then Todd is the headliner. So come on out to Joker's. And if you catch it after that date that I just mentioned, that I can barely remember anymore, then catch Todd next time or catch another comic at Joker's.
I've got some stuff on YouTube that if people want to check it out.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
Little clips. And
you got a YouTube channel?
I do. And you can either look it up, because apparently we didn't combine them all together, and I don't know if that was my fault. Probably my fault. Yeah. Other than the guy that was helping me, but it was Todd Johnson comic or it's comedian Todd Johnson. I've got stuff on both. Okay. So. All right. Yeah. Good. Yeah. Check Todd out. And I look like this, so if that helps.
It's hard to forget a guy that looks like
no,
you.
Okay, yeah, because I ran into a couple of people that did look like me. Have you ever done that where you walk in and it's really odd? It's this is a mirror? Oh, there's different. You have a mole.
I just spent 7 weeks in Sweden.
Oh, wow.
Helping my mom, was 93 years old. So anyway, I needed to be there for 7 weeks.
Right.
And I don't want this to sound racist or anything.
Anytime anybody starts something like that, I don't want this to sound racist, but
everybody over there looks alike.
They do, yeah.
They all look the same.
Yeah. You know what's funny is I watched that TV show Vikings.
Yeah.
And they kind of did that whole deal, and I went, yeah. No, they did a good job of casting that because they all kind of. But that's just the way it is.
Well, you see, I'm Swedish, so that's why it's funny.
Right? Oh yeah, I'm sure.
Because I look like them, so I can say that. Those fuckers all look alike.
Yeah, that's. I've got a few friends from over in those.
Do you?
That region.
Yeah.
And so it's like, yeah, you look Norwegian or Swedish or. Ugly.
Right. Yeah.
There's not a whole lot of ugly over there, but when it is, it's really. Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of beautiful people over there, when it's...
There's people that look like wood carvings.
Yeah. And then there's some people that you just go...
Bad wood carvings.
Yeah, bad wood carvings. Yeah, like you let a 4-year-old try it on the wall.
How's this? Are we angled?
Oh, yeah.
You can see me.
You can sit on my knee if you want.
Should I move back? Well... I might.
You never know how this is going to turn out.
No, because this is... Eventually, I'm going to go live, and eventually, I've told you this already. So I'm going to tell the one person or two people that are watching this right now. Eventually, we're going to go live so that you can tune in every Saturday at 3:00 and see who the headliner is going to be that night. And
if you haven't been to Joker's, they bring in a lot of really fantastic comics. Yeah, I've got a bunch of friends that. Yeah, I mean. Have you been to Joker's? Oh, yeah, dude, I was there last week, and I can't wait to go back again. And
right.
I don't just say that, but, I mean, this is probably my 8th or 9th time I've been here.
Right.
And I love this area.
Yeah.
I do find it really interesting that you're in the Tri-Cities, and it is kind of like two sisters and a stepbrother. You know what I mean? Where it's like, hey, we're all going to get together. I'm going to live on this side of the river.
Right.
And the other one goes, I'll live over here. And then he gets Pasco or whatever. You can pick whichever one you want to pick on, but I find it funny that everybody's got their own Walmart, but not everybody's got their own Target.
Yeah. Well, not everybody deserves their own Target. Okay, let's be honest.
Yeah.
No, there is this competition, which I find hilarious because I just moved here a year and a half ago, and I moved to Kennewick, right?
Right.
So I'm in one of the Tri-Cities, and when I host the show, I'll get up there and I'll tell them I just moved here from Kennewick, and sometimes there'll be applause, and sometimes there'll be nothing. It'll be nothing. It's, oh, that fucker's from Kennewick.
Yeah, it's like, well, he didn't have enough money to live in Richland.
So my new thing is to say, hey, man, this is a Tri-Cities, man. It's Pasco, it's Richland, it's Kennewick. We all got to live together, as human beings.
And it's funny when you say that out loud, there's some that go, no, we don't. But, yeah, overall, I mean, and then you have your own Chernobyl or whatever that's...
Yeah, right. Well, which we're not supposed to talk about.
Oh, we're not supposed I said it with a T, not a CH.
Oh, okay.
So,
but yeah, so I tell them, man, we have this partisanship, this bickering, this tribalism has to stop. We've all got to live together as human beings and go up to Yakima and fuck those people up.
I've been there. They've already done that themselves. When I see somebody standing on the road going, hey, have you got any money? I'm like, no, I don't think you need any more.
Yeah, well, oh, fuck. I might have to do a gig in Yakima, so let's...
yeah, maybe we shouldn't talk.
No, we probably should.
They're nice people up there.
Yeah,
I like them.
It's a joke. If you're from Yakima, it's a joke.
They have a Cabela's up there. I'll go.
Yeah, yeah.
And if you need the camouflage, I don't have that pattern, so...
I can't see anyway. You got camouflage. Jesus Christ.
That's right.
Yeah. So what do you, where do you live now?
I used to live in Denver, and then I came back over. I'm from Preston, Idaho, which is where they did the Napoleon Dynamite movie.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Preston. Okay. Yeah.
So we're down in the very southeastern corner.
Yeah, I love that movie. Uncle Rico throwing a steak.
And where he had his van is over on one of my buddy's properties.
Is that right?
And it was like, it's a mile and a half from where
I
live.
Were you there when they shot it?
No, I was in Denver. And then people asked me, why weren't you on that movie? I'm like, because I had standards. Yeah. But you know what? It's turned out to be a fantastic movie. It's such a cult movie. Like down in L.A., people will quote that movie like crazy.
Right.
But it's... You either love it or you didn't. And my problem was I knew a lot of the places and the people.
Right.
And like I seen somebody, I'm like, oh wow, where's the other guy? Is he still in jail? No, he's not. Okay.
Right.
And so it was just kind of
you recognize it. It's
I recognize a bunch of people in there, and it's funny because a lot of people that
make sure I'm still in frame. I wish I had more than one camera. Yeah.
Right. So. It's a small town deal, and I moved back because my parents live there, and I was actually helping take care of my mom because she had dementia.
Okay.
And then she's passed in 19.
Sorry to hear that.
Yeah, it was in 2019, and and it's a bad disease, but at the same time, some of the stuff that she said would kill me.
Sure.
Oh my word! It was so. I walked in one time. She's laying on the floor in front of the TV. She didn't go down there on purpose. She just fell.
Right.
And then part of, if some of you don't know how that works, they become very single-minded. And I walked in, I went, what you doing? She goes, just laying here. I says, did you want to get up? And she goes, thinking about it. And then I said, would you like help? And she's like, and so I helped her out. And she goes, thanks. And then went and sat down and moved on with her life. Which is honestly what a lot of people should do instead of worry about. I mean, we got to worry about certain things, but sometimes you get all caught up in stuff.
Yeah. Is that where you get your sense of humor, you think, from your mom?
Yeah, she used to tell me stuff and go, you can use that in your act. Yeah. Which is always that's a real fun thing for comics.
Right.
I'll tell you a joke. You can use this in your act.
Yeah. Hey, I work at a supermarket, man. There's some really funny stuff. You should talk about supermarkets. They're really funny. Okay.
Yeah, that's...
Yeah, why don't you get an act and talk about working in a supermarket?
I think one of the funniest ones that she told me because it wasn't funny was when we used to run around when we were kids. I went... She goes, somebody would go, man, my ear is ringing. She goes, well, answer it. You can use that in your act. I'm like, okay, all right.
I might use that. That's actually pretty good. I need material.
But the stuff that she would say would just, especially when she wasn't trying to be funny, was really funny.
Right.
My parents were really kind of religious and whatever else like that. But
right.
we had a big party at our house, and somebody thought it'd be funny to bring a better than sex cake. My mom goes, better try it. Takes a big bite out of it, and one of the girls that was there, she's like, so how was it? She goes, doesn't even compare.
Yeah.
And, she just say that and embarrass everybody and walk out.
Right.
It was just, she used to tell me, you can say whatever I say. And I'm like, well, some of it's pretty dang funny.
Right.
If I had to go pick her up from work, because I'd borrowed the car when I was in high school, if I'd go around the corner, it was always right there by the golf course. She'd say stuff that I'd go, okay, you can't say that anymore. Like sometimes you guys wouldn't think your dad's quite the catch in bed, but sometimes, I'm like, all right, that's enough of that.
Yeah.
We don't need to picture that.
Yeah, that's the last thing you want to hear.
Yeah.
Really.
So.
And.
But I'm still back there. My dad's he's getting the same thing, and so.
Is he?
Yeah, we're just.
Is it Alzheimer's or just dementia?
I'm not even sure what the
age.
difference is, and.
Yeah. Well, there's no diagnosis. You mean?
Right.
My dad was diagnosed with Alzheimer's before he passed. So yeah.
Well, my dad's kind of getting if he goes takes a nap, he'll wake up in 30 minutes. It takes to figure out where he's at.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden he's like, "Oh, hey, I'm back. Oh, good, you're back."
Right. Yeah. Well, that's what we all have to look forward to.
Yeah.
So
Well, and then I had some health issues this last year or for a couple of years, where I had to have my back fused and then had new hips and everything else, and I can't wait to go through the airport.
Yeah, no kid. Yeah. Set off the bus. I'm going to have my neck fused after. I'm going to have to get 2 cameras because I'm sitting here I'm going to need a chiropractor after every interview.
Turn if you need to. Sit on my knee. Whatever.
After interview, I'm going to turn a little more like this.
That's
get
perfect.
a full profile.
If you have it fixed to the right.
To the right?
Yeah, permanently.
Yeah, right. So I can just sit here like this. So, where are you going to be performing next?
Yeah.
Yakima? All right.
Sorry, talk louder. I can't hear out of this ear.
Yeah. So where are you? Where are you performing? I mean, you're at Joker's tonight.
And then next week I am in Sheridan, Wyoming, doing kind of a fundraiser for a lacrosse team.
Okay.
So I didn't realize how awesome lacrosse is, that you get to beat somebody with a stick.
Yeah.
The whole rule is they've got to have the puck.
Right.
So you can't just walk up and whack somebody.
Right.
So there's a couple rules, and I didn't realize that. My nephew played lacrosse, and the first time I saw it, I was like, I also realized that you can't yell, "I'll give you $20 if you take out number 43," because that really gets them upset.
You can't do that.
No, the referees come in and go, "You guys don't understand the rules, do you?" I'm like, "There's rules?"
Yeah.
You're hitting people with a stick.
Yeah. They actually do that? They actually hit people with a stick?
So if you have... it's not called the puck, but if you
it's like a
have
ball.
that, yeah. If you have that, your job is to get that, like soccer, into the deal. But if somebody knows that you've got that, they can hit your stick or head, arms.
Really?
Yeah, head, shoulders, knees, and toes.
Wow.
But if once you get rid of it, they can't hit you again.
Yeah.
I think they can shoulder check you or whatever else like that. But
it's
brutal.
You got to have a lot of fights breaking out.
It's.
Somebody hits me with a stick.
Yeah, I know. I just kind of went, this is an awesome game. I didn't.
Yeah.
And so my one nephew played and graduated, and then I have another nephew, and I guess I haven't been able to watch him, but he's a lot more aggressive than the first one.
Yeah.
So I got to go down and watch him.
So you're driving from here to Sheridan, Wyoming. How long of a drive is that?
Let's see. From here home, and I'll go home for a couple days. It's about 9.5 hours.
Yeah.
And then up to Sheridan, it's another 9.
So that's some of the things I want to talk about. Because it's called
road dogging.
It's because is that your phone?
Yeah, I'm going to turn that off.
That's all right. Is that? I just wonder what it was. But that's some of the things I want to talk about. The channel's called Comedy Road.
Right.
And it's about what it's like to be a road comic. And a lot of people they always ask you after the show, what's it like, and you can't really explain it after the show.
It's really hard, and if you do take somebody with you, that's not a comic, a lot of times they're like, "Do you want to go out and do stuff?" Sometimes no, because I just drove.
Yeah, this is it's actually work. What you do is you actually work 8, 10, 12 hours driving, and then you do a show.
Right. And I don't know how far you could drive and then do a show. If I do like 7, 8 hours, I can still do a show. If it starts hitting 9, 10, 11,
right.
And a lot of people go, but you're just sitting there driving. No. You're focusing all the time to make sure you don't get run over.
That's right. In
cities that you're not overly familiar with.
Yep. Yeah. It's work, but the payoff is you get to do a show, you get to do what you love, and the point of this YouTube channel is famous comedians. I'm not saying you're not famous,
right,
but famous comedians, they get all the attention, and there are a lot of people that are just as funny or funnier,
right,
that are out working the road and doing exactly what you're doing and what I'm doing for a living. And they're the funniest people you never heard of.
Yeah, that's the best way to put that.
Right.
Because there's, and it's no disregard to the famous people. They got their break.
Right.
But there is many people that we know that are some of the funniest people we've ever seen. And that's what happens is when people ask questions, hey, who's the funniest person you know? Who's your favorite comedian?
Right.
I could probably give you 20 if I just sat down and thought about it for a second, of 20 people that you've probably never heard of unless you've gone to these comedy clubs, the smaller ones, or the Jokers, just because you're going to have famous people come through there, and then you're going to have other people that maybe haven't got their break, or somebody just hasn't seen them, but they're one of the funniest ones you've ever seen in your life.
Yeah,
and
as comics, sometimes you can work a big room one night, and you can work a tiny room the next night, or a medium-sized room the night after that. I mean, it's until you get to the point where you're a marketable item,
right?
And which is like the 1%. It's like being in the NBA or the NFL,
right?
Until you get to that point, you're going to be working all kinds of rooms. You're just taking gigs wherever you can to pay, because you're doing it for a living.
Yep.
Brad Upton.
Oh, my word.
Yeah.
Brad, if you haven't seen Brad Upton, and we'll give him a little pimp here, but he's on Dry Bar. He is the number one on Dry Bar.
Yeah, and he's from Richland.
And he is from Richland.
Yeah, he's from Richland, and he does shows, and he just did a show, or he's got one coming up in Richland. But anyway,
if you haven't seen him, buy tickets. You won't be disappointed.
Yeah, he won't be at Joker's, so I'm sure Max will appreciate you.
Well, I don't care where Brad Upton is. He's hilarious.
I agree, man. I think he's got the record on Dry Bar for number of views. But anyway, Brad told me the perfect example. He opened for
Johnny Mathis right now.
Well, he's been opening for Johnny Mathis for a long time. Yeah, but he opened at the Tacoma Dome.
Oh yeah. He
was the opener for Kenny Rogers for Kenny Rogers, right? When he had a lot of big hits, right? So there's like 10,000 people there. He said the next night he was working a bar. I don't know if it was in Yakima. It was somewhere. Let's not pick on Yakima, but it was in a small town. He's working a bar in front of a softball team, and he was threatening to kick their ass if they wouldn't shut the fuck up. Right? Went from 10,000 people to let's go outside right now, fucker.
And I know Brad's been to Joker's many a times.
But
what's so funny about that situation is we can probably sit down and talk about several comics that have done exactly that.
Right.
Like there's a guy by the name of Brian Killen that used to open for George Lopez.
Yeah.
And he would tell me doing exactly the same thing. He did the Astrodome, 80,000 people.
Right.
And then he went to this place where there's 10 people.
That's the next gig.
Or he's doing one for Sprint. And that story kills me. But,
yeah.
I mean, it's just, you do this because you love it.
Right.
Now, do some comics complain? Yeah, everybody complains about
Right.
their job.
Right.
But I will tell you, over the last 20 plus years of doing what I do and doing other jobs, I really enjoy this because, and I don't know if you're like this, but there's certain places that I have friends now.
Right.
All over the nation.
Absolutely.
And Canada.
And Canada. I was going to say, I worked, I used to work Canada at least 2 or 3 months every year. And I worked Edmonton so often that one of the local comics, when he found out I lived in the States, he goes, "You live in the States? I thought you lived here in Edmonton."
That is a fun and cold place.
Yeah, it is. And I would always work it in the wintertime because I'd always get booked for Christmas parties in December.
Oh, yeah.
And they were good paying jobs. And my good buddy was the booking agent. So it was like I would get I'd get the one-nighters, I'd get the club, and then I'd get a bunch of Christmas parties. So I'd be up there for 3 weeks in December. You know.
Man,
Best time to be in most of the gigs were north of Edmonton, north of Edmonton.
So if you get on a map and look at where Calgary is, that's generally where a lot of people know, and then they don't look higher.
Right, look higher.
Look at, what is it, 2 or 3 hours
north?
Yeah. And you're up there, and you're like, that's actually where I learned that 40 degrees Celsius and 40 degrees Fahrenheit.
It's the same.
That's where they cross.
They're both the same.
If you go below that, that's where you get what they call square tires.
Right.
Because everything condenses. And so if you don't put either nitrogen in there or you don't warm them up, but the only way to warm them up is to drive, go dun, 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 dun,
right,
down the road.
Till the tire warms up.
I'm like, that's crazy. And I walked outside, and it had been snowing, and then it stopped, and I went straight cold. And it was 30 below.
Right.
And it was no wind.
Yeah.
And I walked out and I went, well, this isn't really. Jeez.
Yeah.
And it just hits you.
It's life threatening.
Oh, man.
I was up there early on in my career. I was up there for 3 weeks, and I had 11 days straight of minus 40.
Oh.
11 days straight. And it's like just walking from the hotel to your car was like an adventure.
Yeah.
You know.
Because you got 3 or 4 layers on.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, I remember the place I was staying, and like I said, it was only 30 below, and I could not get that place hot enough. And I wanted about 68.
Right.
And I'm not sure what that is Celsius, anybody, but all I know is about 68. If it starts going above 70, I go, it's okay, but I'm a little uncomfortable, whatever. But I was trying to get that thing to 80, and I could not get it at 80 at all anywhere.
Right. I remember when it finally broke after 11 days of minus 40, it got to minus 25. And it was like, wow.
It was warm.
Nice. Yeah, this is nice. I can go outdoors.
And not have my eyelashes stick together.
Yeah, I actually had parts of my car, like I went to pull the thing to open the hood, and it just snapped off of my hand. You know, it's just, yeah. So, a lot of people think it's a glamorous life. It can be.
It can be.
It can be. Sometimes you can stay in a hotel room where you're going, shit, I wish I had somebody here with me.
Yeah, exactly.
They could be impressed.
Yeah.
I'm staying in this fucking place.
Yeah.
And other times, it's, regular hotel rooms where you're going, I wish I could sleep in my own bed. You know?
Right. Yeah, so, I don't know what that lump is in that mattress, but I'm not going to look either.
I'm not going to test
it. It is true. There's sometimes that you stay in some fantastic places.
Yeah.
I remember, and there was a place up here in Washington that I stayed at, and I'd been driving for a long time. My first thought was, I'm going to take a nap before the show. And I walked in, and it was amazing. And it had 3 shower heads. One up top, one about in the middle, and one in the middle.
Right.
And I went, I'm taking a shower. That's what I'm doing. I'm not. I'll do a nap later, but that's amazing shower. And then the next time you're staying in is a Motel 7 or whatever.
Yeah. Whatever the cheapest one they can find.
And you're like, I'm glad I don't have somebody with me.
Yeah. Right.
But when you do have somebody with you in one of those it's like this all the time. No, it's not. sometimes the best place is on stage, and that's it.
Yep.
And
Yep. And the people and meeting the people, man. I love.
Yeah.
You know, I made a decision early on because I started getting frustrated. You know, I'm living in Idaho,
right,
raising a family, and it's like I'm not around big time show business. You know, I started in L.A., but I was just an open micer in L.A.
Right.
You know, living in Idaho, making a living, and so doing all these road gigs, and I started getting, you know, after 3 years, I started getting kind of bitter, you know, and it's like, and it just dawned on me, you know what, if I'm not having fun, if I'm not enjoying this, I should do something else. And I flipped my attitude, and, you know, there's no, I don't, you know, just, as long as you got a gig, man, as long as you got people there, and you're having a good time, and you love what you do, and it's, you know, they ask comedians, you know, people have asked me, when are you going to retire? It's like, comedians don't retire.
Yeah, they die. That's kind of what happens.
Right.
Even people that have got, like Bob Hope, all the way to...
Right.
About the end. Matter of fact, tell me if you've heard this story about Bob Hope, and I don't know if it's true, but I laugh every time.
If you're under 50, Bob Hope was a comedian. Big-time comedian in the 30s and 40s.
Right. Yeah. And then he did a lot of stuff for the troops.
Yeah.
Well, right before he passed away, and the story is that he had an earpiece, and somebody would sit there and tell the joke, and then he'd tell the joke.
Oh, is that right?
And then they would tell the punchline, and then he'd tell the punchline.
Oh, really?
Just because he couldn't remember all the stuff. But, I mean, this is one of his last shows. And so as the story goes, the guy told the joke, Bob Hope repeated it, and then he told the punchline, and Bob Hope went, "That's funny." and then he says, "Oh," and then he told the punchline. But the fact that he did that was hilarious to me.
Right.
You know,
he's enjoying his own material. He's just listening.
That's funny. I should do that one.
I should do that one. Yeah, somebody needs to write that down.
You did one time.
Yeah, or one of his writers. I actually...
he had a lot of writers.
When I was doing open mics, I had a friend that worked the guard gate at his place.
Oh, wow.
Because, you know, he had a big old big old gated home in L.A., and he was one of the guards, and this is back, you know, when a fax machine was a big deal. They kept the fax machine in the guard gate.
Oh.
Right, and he had about 11 writers, and they would all submit jokes
through that
fax, and my friend would make copies and give them to me. I wouldn't use them, but it was just really interesting to see, you know,
how they wrote for him.
How they wrote for him.
And that's a great way, especially like if you're new, then you can realize how to structure a joke.
Right.
And that's what happened. Not that, but something similar like that. Somebody told me to go take a class, which some comics will go, "Why do you have to take a class?" I don't know. Why do you go to a doctor if he's never been to class? You know, do I agree with all doctors? No, but because I've been to enough of them that I just go, "Oh, you only know this bit, this much? Okay, that's fine. I'll ask somebody else."
Right.
Anyway, I went to this class, and this guy taught me how to structure what to do, and I went, "Wow, okay, that makes more sense to me." Because, you know, sometimes when you think you're as funny as you can, but if somebody can help you structure a little bit.
Yep, and edit. Max did that with me. I had a joke that was working, but it was just kind of like, it was like a 6 or 7.
Right, on the laughs.
Yeah, on the laughs. And Max, when we say Max, we're talking about Max Faulkner. He's the... managing partner of Jokers, and he's also a comic, and he said, no, you should leave these 2 words out because you're kind of giving the joke away, you know. And
that's good.
And I go, you're right. Yeah. He said, you're foreshadowing, right? You're foreshadowing the punchline. And I went up there, I did it, boom, now it's an 8 or a 9.
Good.
You know, yeah.
And sometimes you can't, you've seen it for so long, and then somebody goes, "Why don't you say?" Oh, yeah. I didn't even think about that. Yeah.
And a lot of times too, and especially, I'm still good friends with my ex-wife, you know, and when we were married, she'll do it to this day. But I'll just be talking with her, and she's got a great sense of humor. So I'll just say stupid shit,
right?
And she'll go, "That's funny. You should use that."
Right.
Oh, okay. And I'll put it in my act. And
because sometimes you don't see it.
You don't see it yourself. Yeah.
It's like somebody, and I haven't used this on my act yet, but there was a guy that, we'll just say it this way, that I think he's an ass. And
what's his name?
He might come through here. So
is he a funny ass?
He thinks so.
Oh, okay.
I
know exactly.
He is funny, but he also likes to bust on anybody, and he's condescending, and I think he's an ass.
Okay.
So I told a couple other people that, because his name got brought up, and I said, I think he's an ass.
Yeah, I'm trying to get comfortable. You look you look open and comfortable, and I look like I'm fucking got my arms crossed. I'm trying. It's all about body language.
Did you want to sit closer? Whatever. No. I don't care.
We're in my kitchen. Right. I don't know if you noticed.
So, yeah, I didn't know if we was gonna do like.
Yeah, a cooking show.
Yeah, meatballs.
Yeah,
or whatever.
Swedish meatballs. I can do that. I can do that.
Hey, you just came back. You should be really good with the gift.
Right. There you go. So anyway, this guy
we just bumped heads, and I've watched how he treats other people, and I don't like it, and so I said it. I said to some other people. But the thing with me is, if I say it behind your back, I'm going to say it to your face. I don't care. I don't have time to BS.
I know you. Yeah.
And so I got this. Hey, I heard you've been calling me an ass. I said, yeah, I called you a dick too. I mean, that's just
right.
And this is what he said. He goes, I think you're wrong. You need to change your opinion. What? Right. Okay. All right. Well, whatever you want to say, narcissist, whatever.
Right.
So, but I found it really. I said that to my cousin. My cousin goes, "Dude, you got to say no. You're wrong. You need to change your opinion."
Right.
But it's just sometimes you never know if it's funny or not, or sometimes, and that's another thing is sometimes you run across comics. Go, I don't know if it's funny or not. Yeah, we know. We know how funny it's not. So you should not.
Yeah. If they're not laughing, it's not funny. If they're laughing, it's funny.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. That's what gets me when some people come up to me after the show goes, that one joke you do, it's not funny. It's like, well, did you hear everybody laughing?
Yeah.
Maybe everybody except you, but you're entitled to your opinion. You don't think it's funny.
Right.
But that doesn't mean it's not funny.
And I've had people do that, and I said, did you like the other jokes? Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe we should just forget about there's things about you I don't like.
Right.
Like that you came up.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. And the other thing is like, oh, you like the other jokes, really? I bet you there's somebody else that was offended by those jokes that you liked.
Yeah.
How dare you?
Right.
How dare you like that joke?
Yeah. Yeah. How dare you?
I just printed a new T-shirt. I'm going to be going on the road, and I'll be selling a new T-shirt, and it says, if nobody's offended, it's probably not funny. Kind of.
That's
It's got a funny as in a funny font. That kind of sells it.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
No, it's true. Sometimes if no one's offended, it's probably kind of too tame.
If you please everybody.
Yeah, you just. Yeah.
But you had a hell of a show last night, and that's the thing. That's a sad thing. Well, it's not.
It's a sad thing that I had a hell of a show last night.
Yeah, because I was on too, and I wanted to get all the glory. Instead, he gets it. That's bullshit, people.
It should be the first guy.
It should be the first guy up, the guy doing the guest set, not the headliner. But no, you had a great show last night. The sad thing is, because of the travel, and we talked about the travel, I can't do this show like early, noon on a Friday because the comics are traveling to get here.
And I don't wake up early.
And you don't wake up early. And some of them don't get here till, the show starts at 7:30. Some of them don't get into town till 6 or 6:30. Right. So I can't do when I do the show and get it uploaded or do it live on Fridays. So I got to do it Saturday. So hopefully if you're still watching, please, come to the YouTube channel on Saturdays at 3:00, and you'll get a preview. If you're coming on a Saturday, you get a preview of the headliner.
Right. And the other thing is, if you're going to have a bunch of those up, then when I come back around,
that's right.
Those are going to be loaded, and you go, oh,
that's right.
And some of the stuff that we do here, I'm not going to do on stage.
Right. No, we're just
this is kind of
bullshitting.
Off the cuff.
Yeah, I'm trying to keep it very casual and very spontaneous and just talking and you know, I've known you for a long time, but we don't. That's the other thing. We hardly ever get to hang out because you're a headliner. I'm a headliner.
Yeah, that's kind of a crazy deal how that works. So if you do get a chance to work with another headliner in a show,
right?
You know, like sometimes they may have a show that 2 or 3 headliners come together, or dual headliners,
right?
And you get to hang out with somebody because once you kind of move up there, then you're
there's only one headliner on every show. So, and there's people that I made great friends with that would open for me, or when I was opening for them, and we'd travel in the same car for weeks, you know, and really bond and get to know each other. And then before you know it, we're both headliners and we never
see each other.
Never see each other. Yeah.
You ever been in a car where you couldn't stand the other guy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's happened. You know, it hasn't happened that, you know, well, actually, the reason it hasn't happened that often is because I got to a point where it was like, I'm going
to drive by myself.
I'm going to drive by myself.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So there's times that I'll take somebody with me.
Right.
And, you know, I used to look at some headliners that would bring guys that were not funny at all.
Right.
And sometimes they might do that because they don't want to have to follow somebody funny. And
they might want to have somebody pay for gas.
Yeah. And so sometimes I'll travel with somebody, but I've also been pushed together where, hey, he has to ride with you. Well, I hope he can keep his mouth shut because he has a tendency to, or she, or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had one guy about left, and I should have done it for the story.
Yeah, well, I've got one of those. I've got one of those too. If I can make it funny, I'll tell it. But I'm still bitter.
Well, here's the thing about that stuff. It's funny because comics like to hear stories of stuff where I don't know how the best way to say it, that you fail when they know that you don't normally fail.
Right.
So I've got some buddies when they tell me horror stories of a show that they did.
Right.
I can't stop laughing because I know that they don't eat it.
To a comic, there's nothing funnier than having a friend on stage bombing. There's nothing.
Yeah,
right?
when everybody's not laughing, but the back three guys are
but the
just
comics
howling.
in back.
Yeah, especially when they say something and you go, oh yeah, they can't say that. Somebody's here and they made a comment.
Right. And you know them, you know they're funny, and you know they're struggling, and there's nothing funnier. Yeah.
Matter of fact, sometimes that's fun just to sit around as comics and tell those stories, whether it's about you or this happened to somebody that we know.
Right.
And yeah, I'm thinking about 3 or 4 of them right now that just make me cry.
And sometimes it's the opposite where nobody in the audience is laughing, but if you can make the other comic laugh, you're fine with it.
Right.
And
there's a flip side with that. Like after you've been doing it for a while and you can do well, but today's not the day.
Right.
And if your buddy is going to sit there and laugh at you, but nobody else is, it's okay.
Right.
When you first start and the one new guys are trying to make just their buddies laugh and don't care, that's when it's kind of like, but later on, it's like, if I can get those guys to laugh because they know.
They know
the deal, and this is just one of those shows that's not going well.
Right.
You know, but I still have to get paid, so I got to do 43 more minutes.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Do the best you can. I love the story about Norm Macdonald. Do you ever watch his Netflix show that he had?
I'm trying to remember if I did that.
It's still on. I don't know if
I need to go watch it because
it's funny. What a funny guy. And
he's such a deadpan,
right?
And he'll draw some of this stuff out, and you just go, "Is he going to get to the point?" And I'm going to have to go watch it now.
And there's a YouTube video of Chappelle and a bunch of other comics that are talking after he passed. Like the kind of, have you seen that one? Well,
I've got to watch that now too.
Yeah, they're sitting around talking about Norm, and one of them tells a story about I think it's Brewer. Tells a story about he opened for Norm, and he said that like out of 6 nighs, three or four out of the six, because Norma's had that offbeat humor.
Right. You either like him or you didn't.
Right. So he would say two or three nights out of the 6 or 7, he'd get nothing. And then when he killed. The other 3 or 4 nights he killed.
Yeah.
And he said when he killed, he'd go backstage and make the openers play poker with him right after the show. Right. Just go right there. When he bombed, he would go head straight for the exit, stand at the door and shake hands and thank everybody for coming.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
Because I'm assuming with his sense of humor, he wanted to make people as uncomfortable as possible.
Right.
I've done for an hour, so I'm going to do it on your way out too. That's hilarious.
He was enjoying himself.
Oh.
Yeah.
And it's funny how there's certain comics that will do that. They love just making everybody uncomfortable.
Right.
I'm not necessarily one of them.
Right.
If I have a show like that, I'll kind of go, well, nowadays I kind of go, all right, well, it's going to make me work harder, I guess, at it.
Right.
After I get out of this stupor or whatever.
Right.
And, but I don't know if I'd have the guts to go. One of my buddies has told me that, where when he first started doing corporate shows or cruise ships, he goes, yeah, make sure you do well, because when you don't, you don't want to leave your cabin. Because he went and got in a hotel, and he says, old people don't know how to whisper. Because some little lady, she was like, there he is. And he's a black guy, so he really stood out. And he just, not that all black people stand out, but in this deal, they did. And I laughed, and he goes, there he is. If I was him, I'd be so embarrassed. And he turned around and went, I am. And then walked out of the...
And you need to learn how to whisper.
Yeah, it's... And now he's just got really good with it. But he goes, sometimes you'd look at my show and go, what are you doing? You're pandering so much. And he goes, that's why I have the 2 weeks off, so I can go into comedy clubs and get the taste out of my mouth.
Yeah.
You know, because you get, on those cruise ships, you get one, maybe 2 complaints, and they go,
Right.
And then you get it again, and it doesn't matter that 98% of the people liked you.
Right.
It's those 2 little old ladies or guys, whoever it is, that decided to gripe at you.
Right. And then, I mean, I've only done one cruise, and the money's good, but I couldn't stand being. Norwegian. They treat you like a crew member. So you're not allowed to mingle with the passengers. You're not allowed to go to the pool. You have to basically stay in your cabin, or if you want to work out, then you go where the crew works out.
Wow.
So I couldn't wait to get off.
They didn't do it because you were Swedish, did they?
You know what? I think I've got a lawsuit.
Like, look,
I got a lawsuit on my hands.
We're Norwegian, but the Swede
Yeah.
And we're going to tell him this.
Yeah. The Swede wants to go to the pool? No.
We don't do that.
No Swedes in the pool. No Swedes in the pool.
Which you should do that on stage one time.
I should.
It's all yours. See, this is how jokes get written.
Yeah, this is how it works, man. I'm going to start ripping on Norwegian crew. They're not going to book me again anyway.
No. So, might as well.
Might as well, yeah. Because they booked me, the shot they gave me was Thanksgiving week. So everybody brought their grandparents and everybody brought their kids. So like the whole, my shows, except for the adult show. I did 2 adult shows and went really well.
Just the kids were there?
For the other shows.
Oh, okay.
For the other shows. And like literally the first 7 or 8 rows were all kids. And the parents and grandparents were behind them. And the kids heckling. How do you deal with kids heckling? You know,
because you can't hit them anymore.
No. And you got to be squeaky clean.
Right.
And they don't know that that you're putting them down. They just keep heckling, you know. Anyway, so I didn't have a good time. And my report to the agent was that Leif was very professional, followed all the rules. His performances were fair, but fair is not good enough.
No. And you're right. What can you say to them?
Right.
This is somebody else's joke. I'll tell you this. You can't just go, hey, you guys need to be... Santa's not real.
Yeah.
You can't say stuff like that.
Right.
But
yeah,
I hear it's... I haven't done it yet, but I hear it's tough.
Yeah. Who do you work for?
I don't do any of the cruise ships
yet.
Okay.
Okay.
I actually sent my stuff in to an agent, and, I wear a hat all the time.
Right.
Just because of... I just do. But I also do have some jokes about it. And I sent my stuff in, and then I never heard back. And I went to a different agent, and I sent my stuff in. And then after a while, I was talking to him, and he goes, here, you need to send in some stuff more like corporate. I says, just tell me. He goes, if you want to work with somebody else. I said, no. I want you to tell me.
Right.
He goes, okay, so if I have these pictures, can you wear a sport coat or can you wear this? And you have to look a little bit more. I said, no hat. And he goes, no hat. I said, okay, that's all you had to say.
Right.
And then we had COVID, and so I just haven't got any new headshots to send in.
Right.
And it's just, and then you learn when you first start writing and stuff like that, you're doing any joke you can get to laugh.
Right.
And then after you've got some stuff, then you start picking and choosing for the stuff that's cruise ship worthy or corporate worthy, or sometimes dumbing yourself down. And it's not because people are dumb. It's because now you're doing stuff for worldwide.
True.
Just on that cruise ship, correct?
True. Yeah, it has to be very relatable to a broad cross section of people.
So if you start talking about Walmart or Target and stuff,
that's
people just go, we're Swedish. We don't.
Yeah. I think. Yeah. It's pronounced Walmart.
Walmart?
Yeah, Walmart.
Because we don't say. Well, I guess if you'd say it over here, it'd be Walmart, right? For the two V's.
Oh.
To make a W.
Oh.
No.
No.
See, sometimes this is how it works. Jokes don't work.
Sometimes I'm not the best audience.
But sometimes it could be, yeah.
But here's the thing, too, about persistence. A friend of mine had, and I should get in touch with him again because I'm getting back to working on the road and getting more gigs. Do you know Vilmos?
I do.
Yeah.
Yep.
Did you have his program?
I did there for a while, yeah. It was actually really good.
Yeah. And what it was is it's an automated program that sends out your availabilities to whoever you plug in, agents, club owners, whoever. So I had this whole long list, and one of them that's how I got the cruise ship, the Norwegian cruise ship.
Nice.
Yeah, but when I looked at how many emails they got before they responded, it was like 67 emails.
I was going to say I did get somebody that responded, "Hey, look, it's not that I don't want to book you. It's just and I looked back and saw the same thing. Yeah. So it was a great program.
Yes. Well, the point is, I usually give up if I send out 1 or 2 emails and don't get a response. Fuck it, I give up. But this program doesn't care. It just keeps sending that.
It's automated. It just does it. You update it and everything else.
67 emails, and I got the gig.
Yeah, that's all. But what happens is we get in our own heads. They don't want to.
They don't want us. They don't want us.
And here's something I dealt with one of the bookers. I'll remember who it is here in a second. I was talking to him aside because I was at a festival, and he was kind of hammered, but he was sitting there telling me one of the things I have is, if say for instance you have jokers here, you have 52 headliners a year if they do every Friday and Saturday, right?
Right.
And you have your features. So that's 104 spots. And if you have 1,000 comics,
right,
you're not going to get everybody in there, right? And you're not going to get everybody that wants to be a headliner or thinks they're a headliner. And, so you're not going to get that. But the other thing that you have is and in this case, this guy had a whole bunch of stuff. And, he might be able to plug people into different things. But what happens is he told me this one guy sent his stuff. He looked at it and said, yeah, I can book you. But I can't book you for like 3 months because I'm already booked out 3 months with everybody else. So please give me an email. Just remind me.
Right.
In about 6 weeks or 2 months, whatever it was. And he says the next email he got from this guy was 2 weeks later, scathing email. You said you'd book me and he went off and I just went, delete.
And
I went, but you need to tell everybody that since we're here at a festival, because that's what you see. So people have got to be persistent, and this actually helped me because there's times that I go, they don't want me. They don't. No, it does become a numbers game, and that's what that program does.
That program does, and I also got a gig because this guy only books. He books every year and a half, and he books a year and a half ahead.
Oh yeah.
So September is when he books. So I gave him my video. This is back when you're actually still handing out DVDs to people,
right?
And in January, and he says, "Well, I book in September." So I programmed the thing in to send him an email in September. Boom! I got the gig, and I'd forgotten all about it.
That's the one out of Detroit.
Yeah. Mark.
Yeah.
Mark Ridley's Comedy Castle.
Yeah.
And I worked there twice, but he only books like every year and a half.
I hear it's a fun club.
Yeah, very good, very well
I was
run.
driving through, and that's one of the things. I mean, I don't know how many comics you're watching. Hopefully, some and more. But one of the things that I've done,
not just comics,
but as you know, I've had people ask me questions. How do you do this? Well, when I'm out being a road dog and going as hard as I can, if I don't have something going on and there is anywhere 2 or 3 hours away from me, I would drive there.
Right.
So, like, I was in Detroit and I had to go there, and then I was doing something else over in Ohio, and then coming back to Detroit to do the guest set for Mark Ridley's.
Right.
And when I went over to Ohio, and I was in Cleveland, I said, "Yeah, I'm in the area." The guy goes, "You're in the area?" And I says, "Yeah." He goes, "Where?" I says, "Detroit." And he goes, "That's not in the area." I says, "I'm from Idaho. It's in the area." And I did a guest set, and I did well, and I got booked from it.
Right.
But that's part of the deal.
Right.
One of my buddies in Canada, he's told me that before. He goes, "Dude, when you're not doing stuff, you're doing stuff." And I'm like, how else are you supposed to do it?
Yeah, you got to keep active. It's a business. It
is. And if you love it that much, you show up and do the look. If you spend a little bit, you do the dance so that you can get on the club.
Yep. So you can get on the club. So one more quick story about this program. So I only had one person complain that they were getting too many emails, and it was a nasty complaint.
Oh, right? Wow!
Yeah, and I would only send it like once a week or once every other week, and it was a nasty complaint, like just being really rude, Instead of saying, "Hey, sorry, please stop," it was just really critical and stupid, and angry. It was an angry response. Wow. Yeah. And I won't mention the club because they're probably not there anymore. It's a good club in Sacramento. But anyway, so I told Vilmos, who wrote the program, he goes, "Oh, okay, well, now all you have to decide is, do you stop sending them? Or do you increase the number of times that you send them?"
He makes me laugh because he's one that I love him to death, but he's one that likes to poke.
Right.
Oh, does this hurt here? He likes to do that.
Yeah, but I thought that was I didn't do it, but I thought that would be funny if I went from like once every other week to once a day.
Oh man. There was a guy that was down out of San Diego, and I can't remember his name off the top of my head, but it doesn't matter. But he didn't have a program like that, but he had a wife. And he couldn't type because he couldn't see very well. And he sent emails every week.
Right.
Sometimes, or he would call until they would finally either do what you said.
Right.
Or they'd just go, "All right, can you do this week?"
Right.
And sometimes that tenacity pays off.
Yeah, that's right.
But it also clears out that date, too. Here, you're either booked or they don't want to talk to you anymore.
Right.
And I've had 1 or 2 of those that says, "Yeah, can you take me off this list?"
Right.
Gladly. I'll just add another one on somewhere else.
Right. Yeah, it's a fine balance.
But there's some of our friends, it's amazing how tenacious they are to get out there and just, because, they got to feed kids.
It's a hustle. It's a hustle.
It's a hustle.
And that's one reason I slow down is because I wanted to spend more time with my kids because I missed a lot of their early childhood. I mean, I'd be home, a day or two or a week, but I was doing like 35 weeks a year.
Yeah.
And then I started making a little more money, so I was able to slow down when they were in middle school and high school, and I could be home more with them.
Well, that averages out to be what? 3 times a month?
Yeah.
Roughly?
3 weeks a month?
Yeah, how did I say that?
I don't know, 3 times a month.
Yeah, 3 times a month.
Yeah, and plus there was more work back in those days too, and then the virus hit, so then we weren't able to work at all for like 2 years. So I'm just now getting back into it. So that's why I did a guest set last night, because now I need to start remembering, because I was working on new stuff.
Right.
And now I got to remember all the old stuff.
Now, do you keep all your notes and stuff like that?
I've got video.
Oh, good.
Yeah, I've got video.
Which is painful to not
it's,
saying.
Yeah, no, it's painful for me to watch myself.
For you to watch yourself.
I hate it. I hate it.
But I will tell you that I told this to a guy. I was driving through Boise, and I stopped and was going to do a guest set at the open mic thing, and they wouldn't let me on.
Yeah. But did they know that you were a nationally touring headliner?
I told the guy, I said, I've been doing this 24 years.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I don't know if we could. If somebody drops out, then we'll put you on. And then I think he was just, he was the guy filling in for somebody.
When people are new, they don't know what they're doing. They don't know. Yeah.
I've had some funny situations with that. But and then when the show was done, I had 2 or 3 people come on. What are you doing in town?
Right.
Oh, you know him? Yeah, dude. Why didn't you put him up? Oh,
right.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that's fine.
Yeah.
But
you need to check. I remember. Oh God, I don't want to interrupt you.
Go ahead. I was gonna say. I remember when I was kind of doing open mics, I was kind of going out on the road and stuff, and people kept saying, and I had a bunch of video, but I'd never watched it.
Right.
Because I hated watching myself. Because I kept thinking it's not funny. It's just not funny. It's just you're an idiot. And then I thought I should watch this, and it was before doing a show that night. And as I was watching, I was standing there, and I was real close to the TV. I said this out loud. No one else was in the house, but I went, if I was that guy, I would... Yeah, I am that guy. That's exactly what I said out loud. But it made me go, oh, I need to watch this, because you don't know if you're saying a lot. You don't know you're... some guys swear a ton.
Yep.
And if they cut that out, they only have 29 minutes now.
Yep.
No, but at the same...
When I watch these videos that I do, I notice that I say right a lot. Like if somebody's talking, I go right. Yeah, right. Yeah, right. Yeah. And when I watch it back, I'm going, oh, I got to stop saying right.
When I watch politics, I know when they say look, I know it's going to be a lie. But that's...
Hey, listen, I think we should wrap it up. Or, well, maybe we shouldn't. But I think it's time to wrap it up.
Yeah.
And because you got to get ready for your show. I got to get a nap.
Oh, well, that's more important than I probably need to just put a different shirt on and stuff like that. Oh, I wanted to tell you this because I thought it was really funny. So, if you are a comic or you're bringing somebody up that is a comic, the best thing for you to do is ask some information, right?
Yeah.
Because some guys get upset about it. I don't care, really.
Right.
But sometimes people will go, so... what do you want me to say? Have you been on TV? Right. Have you done this? Well, I was over on the East Coast, and I stopped in. I was trying to get on this club. She said, no problem, come back. And so when I came there, the MC walked up, and there was another guy doing a guest set. And this guy, he'd probably been doing it 2 or 3 years. And so I just gave credit where credit was due. But he goes, hey, so you're doing an open mic? Or are you doing a guest set? I says, yeah. He says, there's another guest set too, so I'm going to have you go first. Okay, that's fine. Doesn't ask. He goes, what was your name again? I says, Todd Johnson. And he goes, okay, so you go first. That's it. Didn't ask anything about me, and my first thought was, perfect. There's no assumptions. There's no nothing. And I walked out there. I had to do 8 minutes, so what you do is you take 8 of your best jokes.
Right.
He gets up there. He does a decent job as an MC, but then I got to go up and do 8 minutes trying to get a job.
Right.
And as I went to go up on stage, he goes, Okay, so I don't know anything about this guy.
Because you didn't ask.
Because he didn't ask it. And he goes, I hope he's funny. His name is Todd Johnson.
Yeah.
And as I walked up, I went, me too. He kind of looked at me, and I just, right off the bat, just boom, 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 had him laughing really hard. And then, thanks, that's my time. And I walked off stage. And as he walked past me, he goes, who the hell are you? And before I stepped off, I went, that should have been a question you asked before.
All right.
And then he walked back, but I had all the other comics that were going up. Right? You're a headliner, aren't you? Yes. And there is a difference between a headliner and a closer, technically. But, I mean, a lot of people say I'm a headliner, but did you put butts in seats? And you and I both know how that is. A
headliner is a draw.
Yeah,
butt in seats.
But that's technical.
A closer,
So it was funny for me. I mean, everybody just went, other than the guy on stage.
Right.
You do this a lot, don't you? Yeah. Been doing this for a while.
Closer closes a show for those uninitiated, right?
Yeah.
And can often be called a headliner because on that gig they are headlining.
Yeah, they are.
But you got to have that ability and that experience and that time and that funny to be able, no matter what happened before you went on, you've got to be able to make people go, oh, that was a good show.
Yeah.
You got to close the deal.
Well, and that's sometimes the reason why you don't get the jobs that you feel like you deserve or you earned.
Right.
Because you're funny. You don't have the TV credits or whatever else like that.
Right.
So you end up having to be the middle guy.
Right.
And then one of my old roommates, Dobie Maxwell, if you want to look him up, he's fantastic. Right. Dobie told me a long time ago, he goes, look, you're going to work your way out of a job if you don't end up getting TV credits because you'll get funnier than the headliner, and the headliner doesn't want to follow another headliner.
Right.
And I didn't understand that. And then, when I say this, I'm not trying to say that I'm the funniest guy because I'm not. Am I funnier than
me?
Yeah. Well, than who? Than you?
Yeah.
Just right now because you're just
you're
polishing your
I'm
stuff
listening.
Again. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's just really, it's interesting how that works because I've had that where I've even had the comics tell me, hey, look, I really get along with you great, but I don't want to have to follow your ass anymore.
Right.
And then a year later, I end up working with him again. He goes, can you not do that one joke, please?
Oh, man, I hate that. I hate that. I hate that.
And sometimes if they're a jerk about it, I will go, no.
Right.
But if they go, hey, and I told some of them.
Yeah, I made that mistake early on. I was opening for, I was middling for somebody that was very well known that had a sitcom on the air at the time. And the booking agent asked me not to do my best stuff. And like a fucking fool, I didn't. And I never got booked back into that club again. You know?
I had a booker ask me not to do my closer, which if you haven't seen it, come see it. I kind of keep it secret, but at the same time, but he says, can you not do that? I says, no.
Right.
He goes, really? I says, yeah, because if he's got a problem with it, he needs to talk to me about it.
Right.
Now, if he asks me and I understand, then no problem. But if you're going to hire me for that, you're hiring me to be funny.
Right.
Not stand up there and pander. Now, neither here nor there, but it's...
Yeah, you get to a point where you just decide, no, you know what? That's why I love Bill Burr. I love his attitude.
Right.
It's like I don't want a TV show. I don't want this because they can't take anything away from me. I work strip malls.
Yeah.
I work comedy clubs. Yeah. What are they going to What are they going to do?
Yeah,
take away my strip mall card? You know. Anyway, we got to go, buddy.
Yeah, you need your nap.
I need my nap.
Yep.
And I feel like I could keep talking to you though. I really
Whatever
do.
You want to do.
Yeah, I don't know how long we've been on. That's a thing.
I don't know. I think I turned my phone on.
I do need to know what time it is because it
says Leif's nap time.
I have to upload this so that people.
It's 3:16.
It's 3:16.
Yeah.
And we started. Yeah. I gotta finish this, and I got to upload it so people can watch it before the show tonight.
Okay,
So that's
do
what's
that.
going on. So that's it, man. Come to the show tonight if you happen
Yeah.
to see this today. Todd Johnson, February 18th, Saturday, Jokers, Tri-Cities.
Yep.
And thank you for coming. Appreciate it,
No,
buddy.
I had a good time, dude.
Yeah, me too.
I always did. It's
Let's
good
do
to
it
see
again.
you.
Yeah.
Cool.
All right. Fist fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Bump.
That's bump.
Well,
yeah.
I meant bump.